If you have not watched the show yet, welcome. This is Skeleton Crew, Episode 7. The episode starts off with Wilm, Fern, KB, and Neil's parents in the woods attempting to set up a device. This will allow them to send a message beyond Ad's barrier so that they can communicate with their kids and guide them back home. But right before they can do this, they are spotted and intercepted by the local security droids. They attempt to run away, but are pursued and shot down with stun blasters. First, Neil's mom is hit. She drops the device. Then Wim's dad picks up the device and attempts to run. He's put down too, and Fern's mother is able to grab the device and hide behind a large boulder. She manages to briefly evade these droids just long enough to launch the device into the atmosphere. This would be a W for the parents. They completed what they needed to do. Now, meanwhile, when we go back to the kids, they seem to be in a good mood, most of them. They're heading back home. Like, who isn't going to be excited? Well, Wim. He looks distraught because he knows the journey is coming to an end. And for him, that means returning to everyday life. School, assessments, routine. Uh, I can relate to this as an adult. This is like coming back from vacation and having like, or instantly coming back as soon as he hits his home planet. But now let's focus on Silvo. He's on the pirate ship and they're approaching the large green planet that seems to destroy anything that comes close to its path. This planet is supposed to be Aan, according to the map. Bruto suspects that Aan is just a fable and he wants to execute Silvo as he thinks Silvo just wasted his time. Silva argues though that Attin has been hidden for centuries, so of course it won't be easy to reach, and of course it won't be easy to spot. He thinks that this planet is being hidden inside the big green planet. That Attin is actually inside here, and that Attin is being cloaked. So the thing is, we need to understand that Brutus is like he's a little slow. He does this. He claims that how can a whole planet be cloaked? But it's like let's look at the Death Star for a second. A device that could destroy a whole entire planet in seconds. So cloaking an entire planet really shouldn't be like nothing compared to that, especially when you take into account what An is. It's a mint factory. That means they create all the credits. That means they have resources that exist at an innumerable level. So creating a cloaking device that can cover an entire planet actually makes sense, especially considering what Ad is. But Silvo volunteers to fly in himself. Brutus is untrustful of him though. So he sends one of his own pilots to the planet, and this unnamed pilot, like unsurprisingly, gets blown apart in seconds by Anne's defensive grid. Brutus gets Brutus gets Silvo thrown back into the airlock, and right before Silvo gets basically space fucked, the kids come out of hyperspace. Silvo somehow escapes death again. The man has crazy plot armor. The pirates then pull in the kids and attempt to board their ship. Brutus is the first one to board the ship, but as he is walking on the ship, the kids activate a large claw, and it comes out the ship and grasps Brutus's entire body like he's some stuffed animal on a claw machine. Syl then takes this opportunity to free himself and executes Brutus on the spot, finally erasing the one threat to him that is on that pirate ship. He threatens the rest of the crew with death, but he also promises them riches if they follow him. He instantly sways the crew and they go on board and capture the kids. The kids are held hostage and Silva and the crew are going to board the planet. So, but before they can do this, the message recorded by their parents that we covered in the beginning of this episode, it actually comes through on the ship. And as you can guess, the message contains a bunch of "I love you," "We miss you," etc., etc. But the most important part of the message that the parents unknowingly disclose to the pirates is that if they can find a Republic emissary, they can help them get on the planet. And the thing is, Silvo takes advantage of this. Before Silvo can do anything about this, though, SM-33 points out to Silvo that, according to the pirates' law, since he's already the captain of his frigate ship, technically the ship that they're on right now, the Onyxender, the captain position is open. So, Wim tries to claim this position, but Jod is able to cover his mouth and claims it for himself. Fern, though, steps up, calls unclaimsies on Jod's position, Solo's position, and she declares herself the captain. And she calls for SM-33 to dispose of every single pirate on the ship. SM-33 then proceeds to knock the fuck out of Silvo and does the same for the rest of the pirates on the ship. Somehow, Fern was able to turn the tide of a whole hostage situation using unclaimsies, because anyone that's able to effectively use the pirate's law with SM-33 pretty much just wields the power of SM-33. But SM-33, he flies the kids to the planet, but they're pursued by the other pirate ships. The kids watch in horror as each ship around is blown to pieces by their planet's defensive grid, and they fear that it's their turn next. Eventually, though, they make it through unharmed, and they find a whole other planet, the actual attin, undisturbed and a literal beautiful view. But this peaceful planet watching setting doesn't last long as Silvo interrupts it, and he quickly dismantles SM-33 with the lightsaber that he took from Runner's lair. Silvo then makes the kids play along with this little Republic Emissary act, and he says, if you don't play along with my act, not only am I going to kill you, I'm going to kill your parents first if you don't stick to this plan. So we're then focused back on the parents, who have all been captured and questioned by the droids. And as this is happening, they get an announcement that lists that an emissary is arriving on the planet. The parents then quickly realize that their kids are arriving back home. And as they land and they get on the planet, Silvo is able to pass with his emissary act, and he tricks the droids into revealing the mint filled with an innumerable amount of credits. Hit with like another pirate boner, Solo literally can just not maintain his act. Like, he starts like rolling around in the money and cheesing, and he reminds me of the two bodyguards from Breaking Bad, where they found all that money. So Silvo is just having a dandy time with all of those credits. The kids are having a warm welcoming with their parents. The episode, though, concludes with Silvo returning to the kids and their parents and igniting his saber.